This is the Hanging with Abe Podcast.
What up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
You can hear me? How you doing, man?
I'm coolin'. What's up with you?
Not much, man. Let me go ahead and just, do the introduction. But this is the Hanging with Abe Podcast. It's episode 16, coming to you always from Boston. You can find this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I just want to say thank you to everybody that has supported me so far, has been checking in, watching all the episodes, listening to the episodes. I just want to say thank you for all of that. I really appreciate all the love and all the feedback. Feel free to leave comments under the videos as well. Let me know what you think, what you like, what you don't like. I'm open to all the feedback. I've had a lot of, good guests come on here so far, but this one right here is special to me. The man I'm getting ready to introduce you guys to is somebody that we all looked up to growing up. I grew up in Howard Hills. I'm from Savage, Maryland. And this gentleman I'm about to introduce made us feel proud to be from Savage, Maryland, to go to Hammond High School, where I went to high school at. I call him the inspiration. He's a legend to a lot of us back home. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to give y'all Tim Spruill.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction, brother. I'm severely humbled by that, I can tell you. But thank you for having me on, man. I've been hearing you doing big things, man. I definitely wanted to be a part of it. I appreciate you.
No problem at all. I'm trying to do something, you know what I'm saying? But I really enjoyed it. So I was like, man, I definitely got to get you on here. Like a lot of Dosha came on here, Jay Flame came on here, and it was like, you got to get Tim on here. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to reach out to him and get him on here.
Shout out to them brothers, man.
Yeah.
Go check out all their music on all the, on all the sites you can get them on, man.
Right. They doing it.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button from my man. Hey, man, it's good.
Thank you. So 2020, man, how was your 2020 with COVID, the family? How was everything?
Man, it was a challenge, bro. It was a challenge, but to be honest with you, man, it was really a building experience, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife and I got a chance to really kind of connect, like mentally and like really start to figure out what we wanted to do, like for the future. You know what I mean? As far as like, what our next steps as a family, what were we going to do? Because we had twins that were about to graduate. We got a 5-year-old here. I got a 13-year-old daughter. I got another 20-year-old daughter. So, things, we need to start to, get things matriculating a little bit. You know what I mean? But we got to doing some building and figured out where we want to go and where we want to be in the next, couple years and the steps we need to do to take to get there. So for that, I mean, we used that time to do that. But it was difficult being stuck in the house, no doubt. So with all that thinking, you got to try to put that time to good use. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the same for me. I use that time to connect. Spent a lot of time with my kids. I started the podcast. I just wanted to do something, something that, I don't know, instead of just sitting around the crib, drinking or eating all the time. I just wanted to do something, put my use, somewhere. So I was like, why not start a podcast? And I just spent a lot of time with family, and I just was lucky enough that, nothing happened. Nobody got sick. We didn't have to deal with any of that. So, that was a blessing in itself.
Yeah. Me and my wife and I and my youngest kids, we were lucky. But my older kids, all three of my older kids, ended up getting COVID.
Okay.
And it was rough for them. You know what I'm saying? And my oldest daughter, it took her I think 3 months to get her taste and smell back. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow, wow.
yeah, so it was rough for a minute, but we got through that. But again, that just get your mind going like this thing could end at any time. So you know what I
Right.
mean. Let's put our go all gas, no brakes with this thing. Let's figure out what the hell we gonna do. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but yeah, man, I again I appreciate you starting this podcast though, man. Give us, what I'm saying, a little give us some time to, what I'm saying, vent and talk about our, what I'm saying, our interests, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
when I built it, you know what I'm saying, I told myself, I said, when I made my mind up what I wanted to do, I was like, I love basketball. I love rap, but I love rap more. And
right.
this kind of turned into that a little bit because I love it. And
Yeah,
we used to growing up, like, this is conversation we used to have these
yeah,
conversations all the time. So
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, why not build a platform where I can have my brothers and have people that, mean a lot to me come on here, man, and kick it with me and talk about the things that we've been talking about our whole life. So I'm
Talk
just
that
trying to
talk.
build it. I'm just trying to build
Yeah,
it and just trying to see where it can go, you know?
that's what's up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm definitely here for it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So growing up, you know what I'm saying, as I said in the intro, we all looked up to you. And just like I said before, like you just made it when you was at, I'll let you tell your story and I'll let you tell your
Mm,
story. I don't want to give too much away, but when you was in college, when we used to see that Savage Maryland come across the screen, it just did something to all of us. You know what I'm saying? For me, especially, it just made me think, like if he can do it, go to college, try to better himself, I can do the same thing too. Um, I spent a lot of time in your household, because I'm close with your brother.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Shout out to Caleb.
shout out to Nino Flair, Kalo.
Yeah,
Um, and so I remember just watching the games in the living room, watching you do your
mm,
thing, and so I came like on a later end, so I didn't know. I got the college story. I didn't get the
right.
Hammond and all those stories before people would share those with me. So just talk a little bit about that, man. Just your like, when did you start playing football, and when did you know like this was something that you wanted to really, really do?
Well, and again, I appreciate your introduction, man. And again, I'm humbled by everything that you said. I played football like all my life. You know what I mean? Like as far back as I can remember, I've always played football. Like my mom used to tell me stories about like how when I was little, like I was a really big kid. So like when I was 3 years old, like I was the size of a 5 year old. So I would go out and go play with the older kids, and we would play football. And you know, I, when I was growing up, it was just what we did. You know what I'm saying? We bumped heads, we fell down, we bust our nose, whatever. I would hurt myself a little bit, and I just wouldn't think about it. I'd just go back out there and go play. But I honestly didn't start playing organized football until I moved to Howard County. Because we came up, you know, pretty tough, and we didn't have a whole lot of money to spend. So it wasn't until I moved to Guilford um, that I started playing organized football with the Trojans, and we had a good old time then, man. There's a lot of good guys on that team. We had one of the legendary coaches. Coach Page was my head coach for the Trojans. Everybody knows Coach Page, man. He's a historic figure here in Howard County. Um, Played there, did well. My very first time, we actually played in. We ran this offense called the single wing, and shout out to my man Skip. He was our offense coordinator. We had no idea what this was, man. Like it's literally what it's basically what teams are all doing now with the spread offense, but the single wing is like, you got basically like they snap the ball to your running back and he make the plays. It's like basically how football started. And people used to line up and be like, "Man, what the hell are they doing out here?" We had no idea what we was doing. We had a couple good players, so we were in most games, but we were terrible, man. We only won like 3 games, but we was out there trying to snap box with everybody, man. But we used to get dusted, man, and it used to get bad too, dog. But we had some good athletes. Um, I didn't get to play in the 8th grade because I was too heavy. They didn't have red stripers when we was growing up.
Yeah.
Um, but then I went to Hammond, and to be honest with you, man, like I almost didn't try out for football because I like basketball so much, And it just so happened that I don't know if you remember when Mr. Nicholson used to open up the gym for open gym at Hammer High, and we was in there playing an open gym, and I caught a. I ended up catching something off the rim and dunking it with 2 hands. I've been the same height since I was in 7th grade, man. So I've been 5'9" since I was in 7th grade. I might not even be 5'9" for real. Like I'm somewhere between 5'8" and 5'9", somewhere around there. But anyway, so and I dunked it, and one of the assistant coaches just happened to be walking past the gym when I did it, and I think the JV tryout was like 2 days later. And he was like, I told him I was going to come out, and he was like, "Nah, you coming out for varsity." I was like, "All right." So I went out there, didn't have a parent permission form, physical, nothing like that. We just threw some pads on me and ran a couple of plays, and I did pretty well. And they gave me the parent permission form. They were like, "Bring this back tomorrow." So I ended up playing varsity as a freshman. I didn't play a whole lot, but I did pretty well. Um, but my sophomore year, we used to have contract. I almost failed in that grade, man. Um, just because I didn't have my mind together. I was chasing women.
Yeah.
Well, young little girls. Let me say, I was chasing little girls. I was a young man, so I wasn't doing nothing weird or nothing like that. But um, yeah, just chasing women, man, not paying attention, wanting to party, just kind of taking it all in, being reckless. You know what I'm saying? Not doing a little dirt. So I missed the first 4 games, but I still made second team all county. Um, did really well as a junior, and I didn't really notice, that there were people that were watching me. You know what I'm saying? Other
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
like my brother. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, he even, he was at that age where he didn't really want to tell me that he was, you know, like I was his man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I ain't really know that, what I'm saying, everybody was watching. Kurt used to tell me all the time he would watch my highlight tape before he would go to play games and stuff like that. I always thought that was cool, um, but yeah, man, getting the opportunity to play at the University of Virginia was a dream come true for me, man. And I would have never went to college if it wasn't for football, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why I cherish sports so much, especially football. Like I just feel like football is the ultimate team sport. It is the ultimate man creator for young men. Um, I mean, I'm sure there's other sports, but I think that football in itself teaches you how to, deal with other people, other personalities, how to put whatever your issue is aside in order to get, for one common goal. It teaches you how to work with others, and just be collaborative. And I didn't I didn't necessarily have any heroes like growing up, man. And so I would put my time into the wrong people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Like, like the hustlers and the scammers or whatever that was on the street. I mean, they were good people. They just were doing what they was doing. I mean, you pick up bad habits and stuff like that. So I mean, like they were my heroes. The good thing about them when we were coming up, like the hustlers, if they knew you had talent, they didn't mess with you. It was like, nah, bro, like you need to be playing football. Ain't nobody messing with you. So even when I was, doing dirt, like they still looked out for me, like, nah, you need to get out of here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But not to lose track of what I was saying, but like those guys kind of pushed me. And the simple fact that there were so many great players that came from the neighborhood that I came from that didn't necessarily reach their potential was, or let me say, their perceived potential was kind of a driving force for me to um, try to do something more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the guy that I saw that would pull up in like the Mustang or the Corvette in a high school parking lot that's like 23 years old, picking up a high school girl, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I thought
Right.
that was
Right.
weird all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to be that. I also didn't want to be that guy that, um, you know, was like I should have been, I could have been. Like I didn't want to be the Al Bundy of the crew. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that was motivation for me not to be that. But again, I didn't have any heroes really, any male figures that were a positive, uh, you know, just a positive look for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that were in my life until I met a guy that became my mentor, Mr. Felder. That wasn't until I went to college. But just to kind of bring it all back, like when I learned that you guys used to watch me play, you know what I'm saying? Like it meant a lot to me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I I went when I was at the University of Virginia, man. It was probably some of the greatest time of my life. You know what I mean? The people that I met, the people that I inspired. You know what I mean, or that they let me know that I inspired them. Like I knew that I had to finish, right? Like I couldn't. As much as I tried to sabotage myself, you know what I'm saying? Like when the closer that I got to graduating, like I knew that I had to finish. You know what I mean? I couldn't let my mom down, couldn't let my brother down. Not that they would have looked down on me or anything, but I started it, so I had to finish. I
Finish
had
it.
to get
Right.
my, you know what I'm saying? And since I didn't have any heroes and I didn't know anybody that that did that. I had friends that had gone on to college and played sports and things like that and got their degree that were going to get the degrees. I knew people that just were going to college, but they were my classmates. So I didn't really look up to them. You know what I mean? And I wanted everybody to know because one of the things that used to always go around was, you know, we weren't from the city. You know what I'm saying? And like people from the city used to look down on us because we were from the county. And then there were people from other counties that were more football, minded and things like that. So there was this view of Howard County football players or Howard County sports that we weren't that good, But I knew that I played I played with and played against a lot of really good players here, But I wanted people to know that Howard County has some ball players. Like we played ball, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And on top of that, like we get like if we go to school, we're gonna finish. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed people that were coming behind me to know, especially my brother, that we had never seen anybody go to college. Like we have a long line of family members that have, went off to college and got degrees and things like that. But um, my brother and I, my brother, my mother, and my sister, we moved away from everybody. We are in Maryland. Everybody else is in Virginia. So
Yeah.
like we didn't get to see that up front. Um, so I wanted him to know that going to college was possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I did it. You know what I'm saying? And that was passed along to everybody else. But I think that it makes me feel really good to know that now, like Howard County is like a hotbed of athletes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
there are some ball players that are being, you know, drafted, recruited, all that from Howard County. I think that's awesome. There were guys before me, there were guys, the guys that were with me, the guys who were after me, everybody, man. Like Howard County has become a hotbed for private schools trying to come and pick out the talent. Like it makes me feel really good to know that I'm a part of, bringing the eyes to this area. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely agree with that. And I mean, I felt the same way because when I came to Savage, um, it was I just was around like a ton of talent. You know what I mean? Whether you were,
Yeah.
rapping, whether you was playing football, whether you was playing basketball, with so much talent in that area.
Right.
Um, even
Everybody
in
could do everything, right?
right, right. Even in Savage, like growing up in
Yeah.
Savage, like we had it's so much. We had so much talent in that area.
And that's just that
Whether
one neighborhood,
one
right? Like
neighborhood.
there was there was a whole lot of talent, things that each person had was multifaceted, right?
Right.
Like
Oh,
everybody could do everything and everybody tried everything. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And you didn't specialize in anything because all your friends, like we just went out and just did whatever, right? Like, are we gonna go hoop? We gonna go hoop. Are we gonna freestyle? Let's freestyle. Like, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
That's what
we
we
just
did
gonna
all
tap it
day.
up. Yeah,
That's what we did all day, every day. You freestyled. We played football. We played basketball. We were competitive about everything. But
yeah,
it just I missed that time because it just was so fun.
yeah.
Um, and just having somebody like you to watch on TV on Saturdays, and just to know that's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like this is possible. Like this is not something that we can't catch. This is definitely
Right.
possible. Did you always know? So when you're going through, you're playing high school football, you're at Hammond, you're doing your thing. Did you know, all right? Did you know that you wanted to go to the University of Virginia? Did you have somewhere else you wanted to go?
Um, I grew up in the Charlie Ward era, so Charlie Ward was like the greatest um college football player I thought that I had ever seen. But my favorite school was Miami. You know what I'm saying? Because I grew up in that era, right?
Yeah.
Um, so to be honest with you, man, like I said, I almost failed the ninth grade, and my coach came up to me at the end of my ninth grade year and was like, Tim, you got to decide what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? He was like, what do you want to do? He said, do you want to play college football? Or do you want to fuck around? Excuse me, I don't mean, because he was like,
No, it's
but
okay. It's okay.
uh, or do you want to fuck around and be like everybody else? And I was like, I want to play college football. He was like, are you sure? I said, yeah. He was like, all right, well, you got to stop fucking around. I said, all right. And then he handed me a letter. And the first letter I got was from Penn State. And I was like flabbergasted, like blown away, like this is really a possibility for me. Because I still like I knew so many good athletes from my neighborhood that didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? That I just thought that maybe the world viewed me the same way. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until I got that letter that I knew that I might be a little different.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I knew I was good, but there aren't very many people that will tell you how good you are, you know, in the neighborhood you growing up in that are your age, right? Like everybody thinks they're as good as you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like um there were old heads that were telling me I was good, but I didn't know whether or not they were being serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just never really took it serious. But um, Miami and Florida State was where I really wanted to go because Miami just was the they had the greatest teams. Oh man, they had the greatest teams in the '80s, some of the '90s, then the 2000s. Man, Miami had this squad. Man, they were something else, and they had that attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna beat you and we gonna tell you about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that was like I loved that. Like back in the day. But Charlie Ward and Dion made me look at Florida State differently. So it was between them two, you know what I'm saying? But then when I got my first letter from Penn State, I wanted to go to Penn State. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Virginia came on later. I had my 5 visits set up. Um, I went to Maryland because my head coach wanted me to go on my visit to Maryland. Um, and I'm glad I did because I was after watching that Randy Moss 30 for 30 slam. I'm glad I did go visit my state school. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to Maryland, and man, there's a whole story behind that, Joe. Man, they tried to tell everybody that we were stealing out of the students' rooms and everything. That Joe was in the front page of the paper. It was crazy, man. I was nuts. But anyway, when I went to Virginia on my official visit, um, they said that they had brought in all their top recruits the same weekend, and man, that class that class of '96, we were there was so much talent, and I think we all committed the same weekend. There was so many great players, and Antoine Harris, Kevin Coffey, Thomas Jones, me, um, uh, uh, Jones, I think his name is Deontay Jones or something like that. Man, he was a linebacker from Michigan. He ended up playing for the Giants. That was my man. Like he was probably the most eccentric thinker I knew at that time. Like he approached recruiting like I thought he was weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like because of the way that he, was approaching it. Like
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I'm to have a good time. And he like it was like a business trip for him. Son. Like for real. You know what I mean? And like when I look back on it, he he approached it all like that. Like he had a different mind. He was very mature at that age, man. But yeah, me and Thomas Jones were roommates on our visit. We decided we was gonna commit together and we roomed together as freshmen. But yeah, like um once I went there and I saw the guys, because they used to have these like recruiting books when we were growing up. Like I knew about all these guys.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty um like deep into sports, you know what I'm saying? Um and I knew about all these guys. I knew their ranking at their position, and I had read about them, but didn't really know who they were until once I met them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, once I got there, man, and the crazy part is that there were no students on campus. We went during right before they left to go to a bowl game, and it was just the athletes. And we went to my man's ski house, and there was nothing like a ski party, and we had a good old time, and we all committed. We all ended up coming, had a good old time. But like once I went to Virginia, I didn't need to go anywhere else. But the crazy thing is that I had North Carolina, Florida, and Michigan coming behind Virginia. If I had went on my next three visits, those are the three places I was going.
Okay, yeah, those are powerhouse, especially Florida back then, because Florida Gators they were
Yeah, just
serious.
won a national championship. Yeah, they just won a national championship.
Yeah.
And my coach told me that he was like, you need to take that seriously because Florida has enough DBs in Florida. They don't recruit up here. So if they recruit up here, then that means something.
Yeah.
You know, and I think at that point, I think I realized that I was much better than I thought I was.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I once I went to Virginia, I knew that was where I was supposed to be.
Yeah. In college, what team did you always love playing against? Like what team like really got you up? Realize like, you know what, I can't wait to play them. Maybe a team you circled on the
Man.
calendar every year.
It was always Tech, um, Virginia Tech, North Carolina. Um, I had some really good games against like BYU. Um, it's crazy, man. Is that and Wake Forest because DeLon went there.
Okay.
I always wanted to, I couldn't wait to go there. And every team in the conference used to dog Duke. I'm talking about they used to dog walk them. And for some reason, man, they used to give us the toughest games, man. It was kind of like they were like our Mount Hebron, right? Like every team in the county dog walked Mount Hebron, but for some reason, when they would play Hammond, it would be like the dog, like they brought everybody, that was ever good back to their school. But they would get dog walked by every other school, every other team in the county. But they always played us hard. And Duke was the same way. I think out of the 5 years that I was there, well, 4.5 years I was there, we played five games against Duke. I think we dog walked them twice. I think it was tight every other game. I mean, like tight into the fourth quarter. We ended up winning by like 2, 3 touchdowns, but it shouldn't be as tight as it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um, like going back a little bit, your best, if you had to say, your best game, what was the best game, your best high school game?
Ah man. Uh wow. There's a couple. Um my first game against Towson, I think I had like 80 yards in the winning touchdown. Um my sophomore year against Centennial. Um, I threw a touchdown, ran a touchdown, ran back a kick. That was a good one. I think I had oh man, Glenn. I had like 358 yards rushing that game. Two interceptions. Yeah, two interceptions, like 225 yards passing. Yeah, man. My junior year, man, I did like was a huge year. I mean, but against Bethesda, like BC, I had a few good games, man. But that Centennial game, my sophomore year, I think that was kind of like that was like my breakout game. That's when people really started to take notice. Like this kid might really be something. Hammond knew, like the county knew I was pretty good, but I was still a freshman. I didn't play a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I made a few plays. But I think that Centennial game was the game where everybody was kind of like, hey, this kid might really be something. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I would probably say the 93 Centennial game. Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably
93 Centennial game. Okay.
it.
Senior year going into UVA. Did you think so? When you got to college, was your plan? Did you want to go pro, or was you just
That was
satisfied with
always
like?
the mission.
Okay.
That was always the mission. The mission was to go pro. That was everybody's mission.
Okay.
But here's the thing, right? This is like I argue with a lot of people sometimes because I need them to know that what they're watching on Sundays, Slim, like is the best of the best. Like there are no scrubs out there on Sunday, right? Like they may be scrubs to each other, but there are no scrubs playing on Sunday.
Yeah.
Um, they are serious, serious ball players. And shout out to everybody playing on Saturdays, Sundays, Thursdays, whatever, whenever you play, put in that work. If you ain't playing, shout out to you because if you're still working out, trying to get in, hey man, it's a 365-day job. You know what I'm saying? The, it's difficult, bro. Like college football is hard,
Yeah.
but it's easy. It's simple, but it ain't easy. Let me say that, right? It's simple, but it ain't easy. You can make it. But you could do all the right things and still not make it. You could, you know what I'm saying? Like the difference between getting drafted and going undrafted is super minuscule. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I always wanted to be a professional athlete, right?
Yep.
But I think that not being a professional athlete might have saved my life, though. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Um, I think I might have. I think for where I was mentally at that point, that time in my life, I was so immature that I didn't realize that I was, um, doing harm to myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I drank a lot. You know what I'm saying? I partied a lot, and I think that if I had become a professional athlete at that time in my life, I would have done probably done something stupid. You know what I'm saying? So it broke my heart that I didn't get drafted and I didn't end up playing. Like I went into a really, really deep depression, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, when I didn't get drafted. I had somebody that was part of my life at that time, was trying to talk to me about like creating a plan about, what was next. You know what I mean? Like what I was gonna do next, like put together a resume and all this other stuff, And I, took offense to it. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't mature enough to understand that this may not be the end all. This may not happen. Like I can say um, with a clear mind and an open heart that I didn't do I didn't do the necessary things to get me to where I wanted to be. And I think that is what hurt me the most, is because I knew that, you know what I'm saying? But in realizing that I didn't achieve my dream because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, like it broke me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I was down, man, for a long time, man. And it's still an internal fight every day. You know what I'm saying? But uh I know that my mission is to do other things. You know what I'm saying? Um, and like I said, I've matured to the point where I can accept that. I didn't accept it for a long time. I was blaming everything else as to why I didn't achieve my goal. You know what I'm saying? But it was tough for a long time, man. But yeah, it's tough, man. It's really really hard to make it to the NFL, and some of the best college players never even see college football. In a pro football. That's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I could imagine just, going through that process and that not happening. I can imagine, like, what you do mentally
Yeah,
during
man.
that time, because
Yeah.
this is something that you played. You played, you were playing this pretty much your whole life. You know what I'm saying? You put so much time and so much effort into it to get to that point, to be a professional athlete. And when
Mhm.
something like that doesn't happen, I mean, I can only imagine like just what it does to the mind.
Yeah, and I think the reason it hurt me so bad was because, again, not I had 100% control over the outcome. You know what I'm saying? And as a man, a prideful person, when you realize that you are the reason you fell off the cliff, you know, it's damaging. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and here's the thing, like I was a an average player, and I treated it like I was a super above average player, and I didn't take college as seriously as I should have. You know what I'm saying? Like the lessons that I was being taught early, I dismissed them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, knowing that I did that is um what pained me the most. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like now, man, if anytime I talk to a young athlete, like my stepson Devin, he's probably one of the best football players I've ever seen. But I tell them to take advantage of their time, right? Because football is probably the only sport that has a end game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people play basketball all their life, baseball, softball, soccer, whatever, right? Like you will never get a chance to play at that level ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you have to take advantage of those moments, because there's a very, very rare athlete that is at the pinnacle, right? Like there's 4,200 NFL players, there's 450 NBA players.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? There's more brain surgeons than both, right? But um, those are very elite people, like at their profession. And to just think that because you play the game that you can be in that class is almost it is disrespectful to the work that it takes to get to where these guys are, you know.
Yeah.
Like as good as I was, um I didn't put in the extra. Like the work these guys put in is unmatched. Like it's incredible, and that's what separates um, the professional football players and the average football player. You know what I'm saying? Is the willingness to do the work. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, especially for like everybody, you know, anybody who watches this that plays football, you got plans of going to the NFL. I mean, I think all the jewels that you just dropped is important for young people to hear, you know, because like they have to understand that part. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you got to put that time in, and you got to put in that extra work if that's something that you want to do.
It's crazy, not to interrupt you, man, but like kind of to bring it full circle, like with hip hop, right? Like,
right.
J. Cole said at one of his concerts. Well, he said it at one of his concerts, but he said it in an interview with Angie Martinez too. That nothing worth anything has come easy, right? Like,
Okay.
why do you think it's so hard to win the lottery? You know what I'm saying? Like, because to gain that kind of wealth, like it takes work and it takes time. You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, like, again, the thing that separates the good players and the great players is something so minuscule. Like, um, unless you played the game, you wouldn't even understand like what that small difference is. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's
Yeah.
hard to even speak on it, but there are guys that are putting in a lot of work that still can't get to that elite level.
Yeah.
And there are guys that are phenomenal athletes. Like there's incredible athletes in Canadian football, incredible athletes, but it's just it's something that separates them from that next. That's how good the NFL players are, right? Like the NFL players like are the best of the best. NBA players are the best of the best. Like all the best players in the world are in those are in those, what I'm saying, organizations. So it's not you can't just play the game. You have to live it. Like it's a lifestyle, bro. Like it's your body that is your currency. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it's hard to, as a young guy, you watching all your friends, do all these things. You want to get caught up in it, you know what I mean, and do it. But what made Kobe so great was the fact that he was willing to sacrifice anything to be
To be
great.
great. Yeah.
And he knew that there were people watching him, right?
Yeah.
And again, like for me, I was too immature to realize that everybody that was watching me, like I needed to be mindful of what I was doing, how I was working. Like I I was good without trying. And that's the most frustrating thing was that as good as I was I was a Division I athlete without doing anything extra in high school. Like that's what's frustrating is that when you get to college, you have all these resources to help you get meet your dream, meet your goal. And some people like I did, you know what I'm saying? Like you basically just take the vessel and you ride it until you get your degree. instead of, using it like a Legos, right? Building everything as you go. You taking all these things as lessons. I had a lot of losses that I didn't use as lessons.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that, the young people that are listening to this, you know, take that if anything. Um, take all your losses as lessons. You know, don't wear them. Don't wear your losses, right? Like, you're going to lose a lot more than you're going to win. But the thing is that, you know what I'm saying? Do you ever like swim in your win? You know what I'm saying? And climb your losses? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's going to separate you. You know what I'm saying? And that's in music, that's everything, bro. And it took me a long time, man, to like really just put it in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like, the losses are going to come way more than your wins, way more. That's why your wins have to mean more, and you have to build on those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. Everything you said is spot on, man. Everything you said is spot on. Talked about hip hop. Let's transition a little bit to hip hop because I know that's something that you love.
Yeah.
So let's, when did you first like fall in love with just rap in general, like just rap music in general? Who was the first MC you heard and you was like, you know what, like I love this?
Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick.
Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick. Okay.
Lottie Dottie.
Okay.
When I first heard Lottie Dottie and then I heard the show, man, oh man, like I was like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard,
Right.
man. And like from the time I can remember, I've always been like a dancer. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we were growing up, man, like my aunt used to just blast the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, our music could be heard up and down the block. You know what I'm saying? Um, when growing up in Virginia, downtown 30th Street, Marshall Avenue, 700 block. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to downtown Nipper News. You know what I'm saying? Um, when we were growing up, all we did was listen to music. And my aunt was a DJ, so she had all the records, 45s. Uh, she had everything. If
Yep.
it came out on wax, she had it, right? So, but yeah, man, Lottie Dottie, the show. Then when Breaking came out, I seen a whole nother side of hip hop because that was like West Coast version. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And I thought Turbo was the greatest dancer in the world. And then I saw the Rocksteady crew on Beat Street. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like the New York City Breakers, man, all those movies that came out back then, Beat Street, Breaking, um, Crush Groove, you know what I'm saying? All them movies, Wild Style, you know what I mean? They kind of helped shape the culture, right? Like, man, I started doing like graffiti letters when I was like 7. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
drawing joints. But yeah, man, like I had to say the show and Lottie Dottie was what really turned me on to like really be all the way in. Like, and then, of course, the rapping Duke, he was pretty special.
Yeah. For me, it would have to be the first CD that I ever bought with my own money was Jay-Z In My Lifetime. And
Ooh,
this is back when like Biggie was still
97.
97,
Yeah.
but Biggie had just passed. Life
Mhm.
After Death was out then. Wu-Tang Forever was out then. Masterpiece Ghetto D was out then. And I
Mhm.
went to I was living on base. My stepfather was in the army. I was living on base. went down to the PX, and I'm looking at all these CDs. I'm like, dang, I got Life After Death, I got Wu-Tang Forever, I got Ghetto D. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and listen to this dude, this Jay-Z dude. He's different. I don't never heard his music. And from that moment when I listened to it in my lifetime, he became my favorite MC of all time from that moment on. Because I was
It's
like,
crazy. It's crazy you said that because what made me a diehard Jay-Z fan was the first time. Well, I heard Dead Presidents. I heard the original Dead Presidents. I seen the video and I loved it, right? But then I saw the video for Dead Presidents Part 2. And I'm like, yo, this ain't the same lyrics. But I loved it. I didn't know who it was. But then my man was from Brooklyn and he came down and was chilling. Um, and one day we was riding in the car and he had that joint on and he played Feeling It. And that was like, yo, who is this?
Yeah.
And then when he told me, I was like, yo, this the Dead President. He's like, yeah, from that point on, it's been that.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah,
No. I mean, I appreciate that story. It was the same for me. When I heard him in my lifetime, I said, I'm all in. I said, this is it. It was sort of like the same thing because like once I heard him, then I kind of had to do my research. Like, all right, what else is coming out of Brooklyn? I knew Biggie came out of Brooklyn. And I said this on the last episode with Jay Flame. I said, if I could be, somebody told me you can be any MC. What MC would I be? It would be Big Daddy Kane.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be Kane, just because of his swag, his confidence, his wordplay. I don't know. I've never seen, when I started watching Big Daddy Kane, like the old videos and listening to Long Live the Kane, never heard an MC so confident and just so like, you know what? This is who I am. Right. You're not better than me.
This. Right. Think about this. That man wore Italian silk suits and had the big old dookie robe with the Nefertiti piece, the mean high top fade with the 3 lines in the joint, had the, you know what I'm saying, 3 cuts in his eyebrow, and he didn't even move. Video, sit there with his leg crossed and just let you know you lost before you even got here. You know what I'm saying? Like when he told Slim, "What you want, Hoss? Dope or dog food?" You know what I'm saying? Like Kane. The crazy part about it, yo, is that Kane wrote for everybody in the Juice Crew.
Yeah.
And he wrote his own. You know what I'm saying? So he did he was the architect of the Juice Crew sound in the 80s.
Yeah.
So everything is on him. Like he wrote Picking Boogers for Biz Markie.
Right. And he would say all the time that people don't really realize how good of a MC Biz Markie was. They just see how playful he was. But Big Daddy Kane would say, he was like, that was his guy. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Biz Markie he could rhyme too. You know,
he was the visionary. He had the vision. He knew what everything was. You know what I'm saying? Like he wrote the Vapors. Kane wrote the Vapors. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Biz.
Rest in peace, Busy.
Yes.
Bismarck.
So
top funny 10. Story about Bismarck. Funny story about Bismarck, right? It's 98, I think. UVA party at the student athletic student activities building. We called it the SAB. And I think it was 98 because I think Make You Say Earn came out. About It was out. Nuck If You Buck was out. What's that jump about 3 Sticks?
Testing My Gangster or Who Run It?
No, it was something else.
Sipping on
It was
Scissor?
something else. No, it was something that started a fight no matter where it was. But anyway, so
Tear the
so what
club
was
up,
it?
probably.
Tear the club up. There it is, right?
Yeah.
So Bismarck came down and we partying, what I'm saying, having a good old time. He DJing the party and it started off with I think Bout It. No, or make it say he started off with make it say and he ran down all five of them records back to back to back, right? And the last song was Tear the Club Up. But listen, man, we they had there were some locals from Charlottesville in the party with the students, right? And they got to fighting, bro. Like it was like brutal.
Yeah.
Like it went down. Um, like it was ugly, bro. It joint was so ugly, man. Bismarck said, "Man, I ain't never coming back to this school."
He's like, yeah, he's like, he's like,
He's like,
I
I
ain't
ain't
coming
never
back.
coming back. Never. I ain't never coming back to this school.
Yeah, I mean, when you play those songs back to back, that tear the club up. You know what I mean?
That
Anytime
joint.
that tear the club up come on back then, yeah, you was gonna have some problems.
Yo, that joint, man. It never failed, bro. Never failed. That tear the club up, Nuck if you buck. And then if you threw some Lil Jon in there too, you might have, you was about to really make a scene.
Yeah. So I gotta get your top 10. Your top 10 MCs of all time.
Ooh.
Top 10 MCs of all time. No, I mean, don't have to be any order, just
All
your
right,
top
so
10.
hold on. All right, so you said MCs.
MCs.
Okay. This not like rappers or artists. Like I separate all that, right? So top 10 MCs. Jay, um, Black Thought, um, Ghostface, um, Biggie, um, Big L, Pun. Um, I gotta go with my man. Oh man, MC. Like I think an MC's different than everybody else. Um, gotta go Talib, Common. Oh, hold on. Ah, shit. This is so hard. No, let me take them last two off. I gotta say Scarface.
Okay.
Gotta put Scarface in there. Um, gotta put Snoop Dogg in there. Um, then I'll go with Talib and it's between Common and Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying? If I was gonna go like 10, I go probably 10 A and B, Common and Ice Cube.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some people I left out Kane. I know I did. I left out Kane. And Kane is easily in my top five. Like I don't know how I missed him throwing it, but it's so hard to do
Yeah.
10
Yeah,
because
I mean, yeah, it is.
J.
I mean,
Cole is in there too. Like that's what's crazy. I don't know, bro. Like, but that's roughly about. And I forgot Nas. I ain't say Nas. You know what
you
I'm
didn't
saying?
say
Like,
Nas, nah. I would
and I definitely ain't say Pac, because Pac is probably, I categorize him differently. Like Pac is like Bob Marley. Like they transcend the genre. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's not a MC, he's not a rapper, he's a poet, but he's, you know what I'm saying, he's an artist. You know what I'm saying? He's a great actor, you know what I'm saying? But like he was in I wouldn't consider him an MC because to me, an MC plays with words. Like like they play with words. But he to me, he's an he's what they call what I like to call a lyricist. Like I separate being lyrical from being a lyricist. There are some people that can do both, can be both lyrical and spit with lyricism, but there's some people like Scarface, Slick Rick, and Tupac, Ice Cube, like those guys. Um, it's not metaphorical with them. Like it's not all metaphors. It's I'm telling you a story. It's all gonna go together, and it's gonna hit hard, no matter how I do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying? Like you got certain people like Talib and Most that can like dance with words, and Hove can dance with words, Nas can dance with Pusha, like they're MCs, you know what I'm saying, to me. And then you have other guys that are lyrical, they're just not lyricists, in my
Right.
view. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
No, I like that. I've never, nobody's ever, when everybody does their list on here, like they just go off of, they don't break it down that way. So I'm glad that you
Yeah.
broke it down that way. I mean, my ten, Hove is one. Two would be Nas, three would be Kane, four would be the DOC.
Mm.
And I
You
just
gotta
think
give
that,
him, gotta give DOC credit for all
right,
the Dre
right.
content, man.
I tell people all the time, I said, look, if you don't do anything, if you don't listen to rap or you don't, it's not your thing, you got to go listen to that DOC album. No one can do it
No
better.
one does.
No,
Yeah.
because he would have
It's the
been,
Diggy Diggy Doc, yo.
yeah, he would have been,
Yo, he wouldn't have
he
gotten
would
that
have been a
accident,
problem. He
bro.
would have been a problem.
With Dre producing him with that voice, man,
Yeah.
yo. And
So
the crazy thing is that he ends up still being one of the best ever because he coordinates Dre's writing team to begin with.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I think DOC may have found um Anderson Paak. I could be wrong. I think I may be wrong, but like I think he brought him in as part of the writing team. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like, yo, DOC, man,
Yeah.
is it funky enough? Yo, come on, man.
I would
He was
have,
shot. Yeah.
yeah, I got him at 4. At
Mm,
5, I would have Rakim. Um,
okay.
just the delivery alone for
Yeah,
him.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, I said Kane already. I would put Q-Tip at 6.
Okay, okay. I can dig that. I can dig that.
I put Q-Tip at 6 because I don't know, anything that Tribe came out with, I love.
Mm.
Um,
You know what's
I
crazy
think,
is that I was never a big Tribe fan. Like I
well,
like their music,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I like their music, but I was like I would listen to their music, but I wouldn't buy it. Like I
okay,
would like I don't know what it was about it. I think I just don't know what it was. But when I can listen now, I'm like, yo, what was I thinking? Like
yeah,
they were so sharp.
yeah. Q-Tip
Yeah,
at
I was
6.
tripping.
I go Kendrick at 7.
Mm.
Um, I love Kendrick.
It's top
I
10
like,
all the time. Yeah.
yeah. I'll put Kendrick at 7. I think Kendrick is. I
Ooh.
think he's on his way. I definitely think he's
He's
on his way.
he's
Um,
climbing, no doubt, no doubt.
8. Who would I put at 8? Who I got so far at 8? This one right here is a wild card, but I don't know why he doesn't get more respect when it comes to lyricists. But I'm gonna put Ransom.
Mm. Wow.
I'm gonna put
Ooh,
Ransom.
he's been around for a long time. People don't know that. He's
Right.
been around for a long time, but I think that with the the Griselda movement has opened up a lane for him, Graf, RJ Payne to all come in and continue doing what they've been doing. Like he just put out a masterpiece.
Yeah, he did. Yep.
He just put
Heavy.
out a masterpiece.
Yeah, he is. Y'all go check that out. That's what heavy. What is it called?
Uh, Heavy is the head.
Heavy is the head. Y'all make sure y'all tap in
Bruh,
and listen to that because it's serious.
your man got busy.
Yeah,
He got busy on
yeah.
that joint.
He did. He did his
Yeah.
thing. I listened to that. I listened to it when it came out Friday, and I've been listening to it ever since. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You know?
Heavy is the head by Ransom. Go check that out. And I tell you what else was pretty dope that I listened to. Willie the Kid joint.
Willie the Kid. Okay, I'm gonna check that out too because I like his stuff too.
Yeah. That jump's pretty nice.
So
Yeah.
I got Ransom at 8. I'm gonna put Common at 9. And at 10, because I always put him on my list, and he knows this. I've had this conversation with him, but I'm gonna put Nino at 10, man.
Wow.
And my reason for that, and I tell him this all the time. He's been doing the music thing since I known him. You know, he doesn't matter if you can make a beat on the table. He don't need a beat. He'll be at the bus stop. He'll be at the bus stop at school before school started, just freestyling. And it makes sense. And I love his music. I love when he comes out with music. I'm on him all the time. I'm like, yo, come on, you don't put out we need something. We need something. Because I was like, you put the last one out like a minute ago. Like we need something.
We need that. Let's put that pressure on him, Slim. Get your ass in the studio, Slim. Get that music done. You got 1,000 joints, and you need to lay it down. Nino, this is coming from the top down. Let him know, Abe. We need that music.
We need that. We need that. I mean, he called me like a few weeks ago. He told me it was coming. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'm working on it. It's cooking. He said, it's coming. I said, all right, let me know when it's coming because I'm definitely going to have him on here because, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I love him as a brother, man, but like as an MC, like he's been doing it, man. And like he loves it. He puts a lot of time into it. He's also put other people on too. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna tell you this. Wow, what's crazy is like that the first time I ever heard him rap, he sent me a CD. Well, actually, no, he was 7 years old when he wrote his first rap. 7. And it was dope as shit. Like it was super dope. It was about like some cartoon shit. Like it's like Looney Tunes or some shit. Like him and my cousin had wrote some shit together or something like that. And man, that joint was dope then. But it was laughable. I was like, yeah, that joint was cute. Anyway, I get to college and he's like, yo, I got something for you to hear. And I'm like, he's playing it for me over the phone. And him and Piers had made a track called A Quick 16. Bruh, I'm listening to that joint over the phone, and I'm like, yo, who is that? He was like, that's your brother. I said, play that shit again. Yeah, that joint was so hard, yo. And I was like, yo, I need that. So as soon as I went home, I had to get a copy of that joint. And I'm like, yo, this is you? It's like, yeah. I was like, yo.
Yeah, I remember.
Amazing.
Yeah, I remember coming out with that. I remember hearing you on a few joints too, man. I heard you on the I Am J Flame joint, and then there was a Cold World. I tell them all the time. I was like, y'all need to find the old Cold World music that y'all was putting out on the CD. But there's a track on there. I don't even know what the track was called, but you was on there getting busy. He was on there getting busy. I think Curtis was on that. I think Curtis was on that track. And I was like, man, like I was like, I love this, man. Like,
I might know. Hold on, what joint is that?
You was like, you said a line, and I remember this line to this day. You was like, I'm in the game. You was like, I'm in the game, and then somebody said EA, like EA.
I'm in the game, EA. Y'all niggas second string. Yeah.
I never forget that. I never forget that line because I was like, yo, I said that line is sharp, man. But y'all was killing it. That
I
whole
think I,
song was just
I think
killing.
I might have that. I might have that joint somewhere. I'm in the game. EA, y'all niggas
Yeah,
second string. No,
yeah.
oh yeah, that was I know what that was. That was what was that joint called? Oh man, was it waiting? That's what it was called.
Okay.
Waiting. Yeah, that joint. And the crazy thing is that we got that beat as a flute because Sonny had made that joint. Shout out to Sonny Bricks. Um, Sonny had made that joint on for my man Knots. Shout out to Knotsworth Wells. And he played it for him and he called him. He like Sonny had said to us, he was like, yo, I got a joint I want to play for you, but I gotta wait first. He's like, all right. So Knots called him and was like, he ain't want it. He was like, all right. He was like, all right, I'm gonna play that joint for you. And it was me, Royal. Shout out to my man Royal.
Yeah, Royal could
Um,
spit too. Shout out to Royal. He was doing
um,
his thing too.
yeah, Royal and Bravo, my man Bravo. So we get on like he plays the joint. That joint gets like 4 bars in. Royal's like, yo, pull it up. He was like, pull it up. Yo, we wrote something real quick. Boom, boom, boom. And we went in there, locked that joint down
Yeah,
like
yeah.
within the hour.
Man, y'all
We
have there's so many cold world classics out there, man. I was telling Dosha, I was telling Flame. I was like, man, y'all gotta find that stuff, man, because that was like
we
just
got
good music.
I got a lot of I had about 5 CD spindles that I gave my brother. Um, there's some stuff like he has in his possession right now, probably in Cold World's like entire almost I don't want to say the entire catalog, but there's some stuff that we lost. But I would say about 70% of the catalog. I I've always had all I always kept everything, CDs, anything. Like to be honest with you, I got some old laptops that I won't throw away because of the shit that I got on it.
Yeah.
Like on the hard drive. I have to get either a new battery or something or a new plug so I can turn these joints on because I need to get all this music off of this joint because I'm telling you, it's some stuff.
Right.
I
I
got
gotta
everything.
I mean, before I leave and let you get off here, I have to ask you about a few things I wanna touch before I let you go. First thing is your business, low cut fades. Just tell me a little bit about that, man. Just what made you want to start that? Because I mean, when I come home, I'm gonna have to come check you out. When I come home, I'm in
Yeah,
Boston, so when I come home,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to
Come
come and
check,
check
check
you
me
out.
out. I take
Um,
care of you, man.
but just tell me a little bit about that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I've always been I've cut hair pretty much all all my life, since I was 11. Um, but I started cutting hair in a shop maybe about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, at a place called Familiar Faces, and I've since moved, and now I'm cutting at Legends Barber Company in 6060 Marshall Lee Drive, Elk Ridge, Maryland. Check us out. And I love it, man. Like it cutting hair is like my thing, man. Like, and I want to do more of it. But I have an announcement. Like I'm going to end up cutting hair full time really soon. Um, and I'll let I'll let everybody else know when it's coming. I don't
Okay.
want to let the cat out the bag yet. But yeah, I'm going to be going full time in the barbershop again, man, soon. So
Okay.
y'all come check me out, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna come check you out when I'm back home, man.
Give me
I
one,
definitely.
give me 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
All right, my bad. I'm back.
No problem. No problem. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna come check you out, man, when I come home. Fatherhood, man. Like, talk to me a little bit about that. Like being being a father, man. What does that mean to you?
Oh man, that's everything, bro. Like, I think having girls, man, has it changes a man, brother.
Yeah,
Like,
it does. It does.
um, uh, I have um, I have a daughter. Her name is China. She's 13. She's my first biological child. Um, and she just made me like I couldn't have the hard exterior anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because I was raising my stepsons prior to having her, and I was a lot harder. You know what I'm saying with them. And when she was born, like I just had to become a lot more delicate. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then finding out that she was autistic, I had to become a lot more patient. You know what I'm saying? So she helped me, you know, she actually helped me, deal with a lot of life stuff, man. Like, um, just because I can't be worried about my stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, she's not handicapped, I mean, or anything like that. Like she's a full, mind. But bro, um she deals with something every day that I couldn't fathom having to deal with. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
The frustration of not being able to fully communicate everything that you want. You know what I'm saying? So um, she definitely made me softer, made me more patient, made me more like I gotta be a little more understanding. I mean, at least with her anyway. My wife might tell a different story, but 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 yeah, man, fatherhood changed me a lot. My man, I got a little boy. His name's Trey. He's 5. He's also autistic, and he is man, he is something. Like he's just full of energy, and he's so different than his sister, but they're a lot alike, and wow, man, like they just love on each other whenever they're around. You know what I'm saying? Each other,
Yeah.
they're always hugging and playing with each other and stuff like that. But she's so much bigger than him that she's afraid to play with him because she doesn't want to hurt him. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, man, China and Trey, man, have I guess my heart. I got to say that my heart is always full. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm open to a lot of stuff, and having teenage daughters. Um, golly, man, like no, just knowing the type of teenage boy I was, I try to, I try to let them know the evils that are coming their way. But
Yeah.
you know, I try to stay out the way. You know what I'm saying, and let them learn on their own.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the only way that they really get it. You know what I mean? I give them advice, you know what I'm saying? But I try to not pry because I don't want them to push me away, you know what I mean? But they're 18 and 20. And I just try to, give them the guidance that I can, whatever I think may help, you know. Their mom does a really good job of that too. And then I have Jaden, uh, he and his sister Kyla are twins. He's an amazing young man. He's he's doing an apprenticeship through Howard County Public Schools, to become an electrician. So he'll be in that program for the next 5 years. Like he's just a great kid, man. He's really great, and it's amazing, man. Like uh, they like whenever they have like their wins, like it excites me. You know what I mean? Like I get
Yeah.
really excited about that. Yeah.
Good. That's good. I mean, the same for me. My son is 7. He'll be 8 in a
Okay.
couple of weeks. My daughter's,
Mm, happy
so
birthday, man. Yeah.
my daughter's 3. And like, when I had my daughter, it changed. It just changes how you look at things as a
It's an
man, changes how you
awakening,
move
right?
as a man, makes you like
Yeah.
look at things a little bit different. You even think about your
Yeah.
past a little bit, like that, like, you know what I'm saying? So it makes you think
Right.
about
Like,
everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about it is, you know, you really start to watch. Well, I'm sure you did the way I did. You start to watch the things that you do,
Yeah.
because they're watching you. You got to watch how you treat your mother because they're watching you. You know what I'm saying? Like, having daughters uh, is a humbling experience because you don't ever want your daughter to go through what you put somebody else's daughter through.
Right.
That is,
Right. Right.
you know what I'm saying? Uh, and I like to think that I was a nice guy, but I know I broke a lot of hearts, man. And for that, I am sorry. Listen, I
Yeah.
just want to, I just want to apologize
Right.
to everybody. Just
That's the
please
same
leave
as me.
my daughters out of this.
Right.
Right?
Um, 2 more questions, man.
Yeah, man.
10 people, if you had 10 people you can bring to a dinner, dead or alive, what 10 people would you bring?
Oh man.
It
Could
can
be
be anybody.
anybody. Okay.
Anybody.
Um, my mother, my wife, my grandmother, definitely. That's my ace, man. Like my grandmother. That's 3. My aunt Natalie. My sister. How many is that? Is that 6, 5, 6? See,
That's 6, 7.
my mom. That's 6, 7.
Yeah.
My brother. Um, my cousin Steve, and I gotta say, my in-laws. Yeah, my in-laws are funny as shit, man. Like, my in-laws are funny as shit, man. And I mean, see, I can't see. It's hard for me to do 10 of anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like to make
Uh,
it bigger.
yeah, man, it's hard for me to do 10 of anything because I gotta have my guy, the guy that I call my godfather. I gotta have him there, Mr. Felder. I gotta have cousin Rodney and his wife there. Like, you know, my man Irv and his wife, his people. Like, it's just too many people, man.
Yeah.
But I gotta have, but my grandmother is for sure. Like, yeah,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I tend for me, with my grandmother passed away December 10th, 2007. My mom. I would probably my homeboy Nick that passed away a couple of years ago with the high school.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
Yeah, a couple of years ago he passed away. Um, that's three. Um, my brother, my sister, both of my brothers and my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do what's that? That's 4, 5, and 6.
Uh-huh.
7, probably all the homies from back home, Howard Hills. You know what I'm saying?
Hell,
Love them. I would
right.
definitely bring them because we just always had good conversations anyway.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend and the godfather of my kids, Craig. Um, been best friends with him since 8th grade. 22 years now we've been best friends.
Yeah,
Uh, so I'll bring
yeah,
him.
man.
That's it. Well, that's 8, 9. Probably bring Hove too, man. I just would love to like just
You
chop it
got
up.
it. Just chop it up with Hov, man. And
Yeah,
Ye, I don't care what nobody say. I need to
yeah,
talk to Ye. I
yeah.
need to talk to
9.
Ye.
And like last is Nipsey, man. Nipsey's probably the not last shining
Mm,
jewel
yeah,
as a rapper. I really like. I really felt, you know what I mean. And I got onto his
yeah,
music late. But a lot of this podcast, man, like the way that I'm building it and like the structure that I'm doing it in, is based off a lot of like the way that how he did his whole the marathon thing, man. How he just pretty
yeah,
much did it himself. I'm gonna
yeah.
build it myself, and I'm a,
Hey,
I'll take care, I'll take care of the rest, but I want to build it off a solid foundation.
that's yeah, and it's great that you're doing that because while you're laying each brick, you can figure out what brick goes where. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? If you're doing it yourself, you can figure out where you need help with other things. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like I said, man, it everybody has their own timetable. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can, you know what I'm saying? You coming up with this is right on time for you. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
when I start to, cut, you know, um, full time, it'll be at my time. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yep.
like as long as you can put the bricks where you want to put them and build it how you want to build it. That's all you need. Just keep your frame of mind. Don't let nobody steer you wrong. You know what I'm saying? Do your
No,
thing.
thank you.
You know what I'm
Thank you.
saying? It's
Thank
yours
you.
and keep it yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
You know what I
One
mean?
last question, because I gotta ask this, because I've heard his name. I heard his name right along with your name when I was growing up.
Mm.
I've never seen him play. You might know what I'm about to ask. You may not know.
Uh,
How good was Irvin Conwell?
he was he was he was he was the best, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what they said he was special.
Irv, Irv, when we were coming up, in our class, he was the best basketball player, and I was the best football player in our class, um, in the county. But Irv could have easily been the best football player. You know what I'm saying? Like Irv, Irv could have been a Division 1 football player, and if he had played football, I mean, if Irv would have played football, he would have been in the NFL. Like, there's no question about it. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
I am of the thinking that you can teach a great basketball player to play any sport and he will be great at it. I'm I promise. Like I tell people all the time, if you are 6'3" and anywhere between 6 foot to 6'3", and you are an amazing basketball player, play football because the game is only getting bigger as far as receivers and corners, right? Like you got all these big receivers in the NFL, if you get a 6'3" corner that has good hips and can move, like an Antonio Cromartie or a Jalen Ramsey or Richard Sherman, like these big corners, they got long arms, former basketball players. Man, come on, dog. Like you can write your ticket if you are a good enough athlete, bro. I remember there was a guy named Booby I played with. I tried to tell him to play football. He would never play. I'm like, bro, like he would have been like Moss out there, bro. Like he was special. He
Yeah.
would have been really good, man. People don't know that Irv would have been a all state receiver, all Met receiver if he could play receiver. He would have played. Irv was good at everything.
Yeah,
His
that's what
brother,
I heard.
Devin,
I heard he was the
yeah,
man back
Devin
then.
was good. Yeah, Devin was good at everything too.
Yeah.
Yeah, his brother. Yeah, but Irv, we was best friends, and we pushed each other. But we was best friends, but we pushed each other and competed against each other. Football, basketball, everything. We always competed. We kept that competitive spirit like all the time.
Yeah.
We competed in anything. Like race, like we would race and shit. Like we do all types of stuff, man. Like yeah, we do all types of shit.
Now, man, I appreciate you, man, coming on here with me, man. I really do. Thank you. Like I
Hey
told you
man,
before, I appreciate everything that, that you did for me, when I was growing up, just, the vision, the inspiration. And I love you for that, man. And I just really, really I appreciate everything, man. And just thank you, man, for just coming and being a part of this, man. And just helping me, continue to build this platform that I'm trying to build.
hey man, listen, I appreciate you having me. Again, I'm very humbled by your introduction and even being on your platform. I appreciate you inviting me. And anytime, man, like we can chop it up. Hip hop. When Kanye John just got pushed back to the six, uh,
Yeah,
when
I think
that
it's gonna
joint
be
dropped,
good.
yeah, I think so too. I think that it's gonna surprise some people. But like I said, anytime you want to build, holler at me, man. We'll figure out a time to get on here and chop it up.
All right, man.
Hey, peace, brother.
Thank you. Peace to
All
you
right,
too.
no doubt, man. Take care.
You too.